Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Tuloy pa rin ang ating buwan para sa mga ina. So yung ating conversation ngayon has something to do with mothers. So, bagong lahat, lagi ako nag-uumpisa kapag ako ang nagtuturo dito with a verse. Ito yung memory verse ko, 3 buwan na. So, paulit-ulit kong nina-memorize. Kasi matanda na ako. Ang hirap, kung sa Ilonggo ka, kabudlay magdulot. Ang hirap niyang kumapit, no? Sa utak, kaya kailangan paulit-ulit. And it so happened that this memory verse has something to do with the conversation that I'm going to read today. So, unahan ko muna ng memory verse. I'm sure most of you are familiar. Ito ay galing sa book of Isaiah. And it's in chapter 55. Okay. First, for us, the rain comes down and the snow from heaven, and do not return there, but water the earth and bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. Ito yung aking verse. So shall my word be as it goes forth from my mouth. Sabi ng Panginoon, it shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please. And it shall not just accomplish what I please, but it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent you. Diba? Dati nung basa ko tong verse nito, I was really thinking na the word has something to do with what I read from the Bible. Yung kaganapan na ginawa ng Panginoon, yung katotohanan, His life, Jesus. Pero nakita ko na ito pala sa Old Testament, yung sinulat ito ni Isaiah, it is the word that goes forth from my mouth. Kasi God speaks to His people during that time. At sa Isaiah, maganda sa Isaiah, binabasa ko, ito ngayon yung aking book for the month, kung merong flavor of the month. Book flavor of the month, yung book of Isaiah. Maganda sa book of Isaiah, pinapakita ni Isaiah na kinukuha niya yung ordinary stuff, lalo na yung mga disappointing human experience. At pinapakita niya na this very stuff, itong mga experience natin, God uses to create and save and give hope. Kaya nga sabi ng favorite ko na theologian, si Eugene Peterson, it turns out pala that nothing is unusable by God. He uses everything and everybody as material for His work, which is the remaking of our lives. The remaking of the mess. The remaking of the mess of our lives. Ang gulo talaga ng buhay natin. Pag iisip natin yung mga nakaraan natin at yung mga nangyari sa atin ngayon, hindi naman siya smooth, hindi naman siya talaga magaan o maganda. Marami talaga tayong mga kalituhan, marami tayong mga problema, and then marami din tayong kapalpakan. At itong mess na ito, ginagamit talaga ito ng Panginoon para maibahagi niya sa atin yung hope para sa atin. So sinabi ko kanina, noong panahon ng olden times, God speak to His people. It is not word that we read from the Bible as we do now, but it is spoken to them. Minsan, directly by God, minsan to, most of the time by prophets, angels in dreams and visions. And these words are answers to their prayers, are lamentations, spoken as prophecy and promise or both. And God did not spare the women in the Bible. Kasi kinausap niya rin yung mga kababaihan sa Bible. Lalo na dun sa mga mothers to be. So if you're familiar with your Old Testament and your Genesis, He spoke to Hagar. He spoke to Sarah. He spoke to Rebecca. And in the New Testament, yung nasa last message ni Pastor, He spoke to Mary. Today, we are focusing our conversation on Rebecca. Ito yung problematic na babae na divided na ang Christian community kung ano ang tingin nila kay Rebecca. We're focusing our conversation on Rebecca one of these few women in the Bible who talked and heard God. So yung title ng ating conversation ay Honoring Rebecca, at yung ating key verses is Genesis 25 verses 21 to 22. If you're familiar with Rebecca's story, at first reading, you might say that it is difficult to honor her. Bakit? She played favorites. She loved other son more. She taught the favorite son to lie. She deceived her husband just so she could secure a blessing for that younger favorite son. Huh? Isip natin what a horrible mother and woman. Some would be quick to judge. But God did honor her because He knew her. He chose her to be the vessel for which, sabi kanina yan, yung ating verse, for which His word will be accomplished. Nakita din natin, it shall not return to me void. It shall accomplish what I please, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent. He made use of Rebecca. Some theologians call it wild faith. Yung faith na hindi black and white. Pero yung faith na nagre-risk ka. Yung faith na nandun sa gray na alam mo na hindi tama pero gagawin mo pa rin kasi ayon sa yung faith, ayon sa pagkakakilala mo sa Panginoon, kailangan mong gawin. So, God made use of Rebecca's wild faith and the mess that she has created. Grabe yung generational mess na nangyari pagkatapos ng kwento nga na gawa ni Rebecca. Ito yung essence ng ating conversation na pag-uusap namin. We are getting to know Rebecca, hopefully as God knew her. Maybe we're getting to know ourselves, no? With all our messes, with all our disappointments, with all our regrets, lahat ng mga feeling natin ang sama-sama ko ngayong araw na to, hindi ako magaling na nanay. Ako, ang dami kong pagkukulang. Sana we will get to know ourselves as God got to know Rebecca and as God honored her. So pag ako gumagawa o nagpe-prepare ng conversation o kung kaya ako ay nagbabasa ng Bible, lagi kong iniisip, foremost to my mind, is that the stories in the Bible are not stories of individual characters. Tapos guest character lang nila sikat. Lagi kong iniisip at laging nasa utak ko that it is God's story. He picks out His characters and determines His ending. And how He does this, kung paano niya na-end yung mga kwento is beyond us. Sabi nga sa verse, His ways are higher than our ways. Diba? Sa Isaiah 55 din yun. Love ko talaga yung Isaiah 55. Ang aking talaga ngayong objective ay siguro in 2 years time mag-memorize ko yung buong psalm. Kasi ang ganda niya talaga. Anyway, yung OPM natin in this today, sinabi nga ni bago tayo mag-OPM, ibigay ko muna kayo dun sa sinabi ni Pastor last Sunday. Nandito ba kayo?
Yes.
Ang statement ni Pastor, sabi niya, mothers are the vessels through which God's blessing flow to their children. Ang tanong ko, at ang sinagot ni Rebecca, paano magpo-flow yung blessing sa mga anak natin kung hindi through us? Paano? So this is probably mothers are the vessels through which God's blessings flow to their children. Yung ating OPM ngayon, parang ganun din, pero mas meron siyang element, no? Na yung pag-flow ng blessing sa ating mga anak ay dahil gawain ito ng Panginoon. God works through a mother's faith, however wild, however misplaced, however gray it is, to bring about His intended blessing. At ang ating scripture, mahaba, pero hindi ko to pagtutuunan isa-isa. Kasi nga sabi ko 30 minutes lang ako. Kaya ko kaya ako. Okay. Genesis 24 to 27, what I'm going to do is I will trace, no? Yung kikilalanin natin si Rebecca mula nung the first time we meet her until she did this according to some Christian writers, this deceitful thing. So, ang key verse natin, babalikan ko yan mamaya. Okay. Genesis 25, kasi nga nung parang kwento dito ni Sarah, parang si Rebecca for 20 years. Okay? So, si Isaac pleaded with God on behalf of his wife because she was unable to have children. So the Lord answered Isaac's prayer, and Rebecca became pregnant with twins. But the two children struggled in her womb. So she went to ask the Lord, what is happening to me? At ito yung verse. The Lord told her, the sons in your womb will become two nations. From the very beginning, the two nations will be rivals. One nation will be stronger than the other, and your older son will serve your younger son. Hindi lang pala sons yung binubuntis niya. Binubuntis pala ni Rebecca ay dalawang bansa. Two nations. So, siguro when Rebecca heard this, grabe siguro ang surprise niya. Grabe siguro yung shock niya na siya ay pinili ng Panginoon for this. But, sasantabi ko muna yan at gusto ko muna kilalanin muna natin si Rebecca. We'll go back there later. Una, we met her first in Genesis 24, finding Rebecca. Okay? Si Abraham kasi matanda na. So gusto niya na si Isaac, 100 years old si Abraham nung nanganak si Sarah. So 40 years old na si Isaac. So ibig sabihin 140 years old na si Abraham. Namatay siya 175 years old. Do the math. Just don't look at it like tayo ngayon. Ito siguro, iba siguro sila tumingin ng mga numbers. So Isaac is now 40 years old. At they wanted him to marry somebody not from Canaan. Kasi sila di ba nasa Canaan. They're nomads in Canaan. Gusto ni Abraham na makapangasawa si Isaac ng kanyang kamag-anak dun sa lugar na kung saan siya namatay. So he instructs his oldest and most trusted servant to go to Haran and find a worthy wife for his son among his relatives through his brother Nahor where he settled. So, ibang klase itong servant na to. Kailangan na may conversation patungkol sa servant na to. How he presented himself and how he worked through this situation of finding Rebecca. It took 2 weeks to travel with 10 camels. Ikwento ko na lang iba, hindi ko babasahin yung verse. 10 camels and expensive gifts. Can you imagine that? 2 weeks, tapos ang daladala ng servant, may pa siya siguro mga tao, 10 camels. At yung camels na may daladalang expensive gifts. It was a long, difficult journey, around 400 miles. From Canaan to Haran. At yung camels, malalakas tong mga beast and can carry up to 900 pounds for 30 miles a day. So, eto na yung nangyari. At grabe ka-prayerful itong servant na to. Hindi pa siya umaalis. Nasa journey pa lang siya. Nagdadasal na siya sa Panginoon. Lead me to the right place. Lead me to the right woman. Lead me to the wife that Abraham, my master, wanted. So, yun yung nangyari. Nakarating na siya finally sa Haran. And I will share this verse with you. Nagdadasal pa rin siya. All throughout, nagdadasal pa rin siya. Nandun siya sa may well, tapos nagdadasal siya. May nakita siyang young woman, who was Rebecca, coming out with her water jug on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethuel, who was the son of Abraham's brother Nahor and his wife Milcah. Ibig sabihin, apo siya ni Abraham, si Rebecca. Kasi anak siya nung kanyang kapatid. So Rebecca says in the verses was very beautiful and old enough to be married. She was still a virgin. She went down the spring, filled her jug, and came up again. So hindi pa nito alam ng servant na siya ngayon, si Rebecca ngayon. So running over to her, tumakbo yung servant kasi siya yung una of all naman na pangyayari, siya pa yung unang nakita ng servant. She ran over to her and then she asked Rebecca, give me a little drink of water from your jug. Sabi ni Rebecca, yes, my lord, have a drink. Diretso. And she quickly lowered her jug from her shoulder and gave him a drink. Nung nabigyan na siya ng inumin, sabi pa ni Rebecca, I'll draw water for your camels. Saan po yung camels? I'll draw water for your camels until they have enough to drink. Ilang kilometers na yung binyahin niya? 400 kilometers. So, siguro naman along the way, syempre di ba, nagsistore naman ng tubig yung camels. But anyway, 10 camels until they have enough to drink. So, she quickly emptied her jug into the watering trough and ran back to the well to draw water for all his camels. Syempre, na-impress yung servant. He watched her in silence. At nag-iisip yung servant na, ito na ba yung success na ibinigay sa akin ng Panginoon? Then at last, nung natapos ng uminom yung mga camels, it must have taken about 30 to an hour. Tinanong niya. Gusto niya kumpirmahin kung ito nga ba yung hinahanap niya na wife para kay Isaac. Sabi niya, whose daughter are you? And please tell me, would your father have any room for us for the night? Tapos sinabi niya, I am the daughter of Bethuel. My grandparents are Nahor and Milcah. Tapos sinabi niya po, oh, we have plenty of straw and feed for the camels and room for the guests. Dito muna, what do these verses say about Rebecca? Una, she's forthright. Okay? Direct and outspoken. Dinirection niya eh. Gusto niya ba ng inumin, gusto painumin ko yung camels niya. Helpful. And she works willingly with her hands. Hindi siya takot sa mabigat na trabaho. Although we know that she's sexual. Kasi hindi naman siya maid, hindi naman siya servant. And then she was humble. She was humble kasi after that, binigyan siya dahil nga na-impress talaga at dahil nga sa ginawa niya, binigyan siya ng servant ng gold nose ring at 2 gintong makakapal na bracelet. So, she was humble. She accepted the payment for her labor as a maid would do during those times. She did not think it was below her stature to accept such gifts. So, takbo na si Rebecca doon sa kanya. Sinabi niya na may mama na gustong mag-spend ng night dito sa atin. Tapos nakita ni Laban. Laban, eto na siya. Si Laban, this is the first time I met him. Na-meet na siya natin dati. Siya yung tatay ni Rachel at ni Leah. Magulang. Very shrewd in money. Nung nakita ni Laban, yung nose ring niya at yung kanyang gold bracelet, takbo siya agad at pinuntahan niya yung mama sa Maywell, sa servant. Winelcome niya sa bahay. In short, sinabi sa kanila ng servant na pinag-utusan siya ni Abraham at kailangan niyang maghanap ng wife for Abraham's son who is Isaac. So, nagkiwento niya yung providence at yung guidance ng Panginoon habang siya ay nagbiyahe at nang nakarating siya sa lugar na yun. Pero nakiusap yung pamilya ni Rebecca, pwede bang manatili muna si Rebecca ng 10 days dito? Hindi pumayag yung servant. Sabi ng servant, kailangan magawa ko na ito agad-agad. It is with utmost urgency that I have to bring Rebecca to Abraham's home, to Isaac as soon as possible. So, ang sinabi ng mga relatives ni Rebecca, tanungin natin si Rebecca. At ang sagot ni Rebecca, are you willing to go with this man? They asked her. And she replied, yes, I will go. Ha! Pumayag siya agad. Bakit kaya? Anong nakikita natin? Anong masasabi natin kay Rebecca? Obvious, no? So nakikita natin that she listens. Nakikinig siya dun sa servant, na-impress siya dun sa servant. She is perceptive. She is God-believing. She notices that the servant's piety and devotion. Nakita niya na ang bait-bait ng servant na to, devoted siya sa kanyang God at devoted siya sa kanyang mission, which gave her an idea that she is headed to a family where religion or the idea of God na hinihig o yun ang nandun sa pamilyang yun. So, she listens, is perceptive and God-believing. She's inspired by the sermon's heart and devotion, which gives her an idea of the kind of family she's headed to. And then, this kind of family, para sa kanya, where faith in God pervades, which in her father's house is never much needed. Di masyadong pinapansin ang Diyos sa bahay nila ba. And so, pumayag siya. So, next. So, meet niyo na si Isaac. So, ito yung Genesis 24 verses 62 to 67. Meanwhile, kamamatay lang kasi ni Sarah. At kalilibing lang ni Sarah. Kaya nga si Abraham gusto niya nang mahanapan ng asawa si Isaac. So, doon sa panahon nila dati, hindi sila sa isang lugar. They're nomads. So, iba yung tirahan ni Isaac, pero pareho din sa lugar na yun. Iba rin kay Abraham. Si Abraham, nilibing niya si Sarah sa Bethel. So si Isaac was in his home in Negev. He had returned to his father's house, in Beer Lahore. So nakita natin dun sa, if you have read this chapter, Rebecca behaved herself becomingly. She met Isaac, ang ginawa niya. Understanding who he was, tinanong niya yung servant, sino yung mamang naglalakad approaching us. She alighted off her camel, bumaba siya. She took a veil, covered herself, in token of his humility, modesty, and subjection. So dun sa last verse, sinabi doon that she was a special comfort to Isaac after the death of his mother. I love talaga si Isaac. Kasi hindi tulad ni Abraham, hindi naganap na iba pa si Isaac. So that was the meeting. So they had a solid relationship. They loved each other. They accepted each other. And then Rebecca lived with Isaac in Canaan. So ano ngayon yung relasyon ni Rebecca sa Panginoon? Nandito na tayo sa ating keywords. It has been 20 years since the first time we met Rebecca na nahanap siya ng servant ni Abraham. She has been barren for 20 years. Isaac is now 60 years old. Si Abraham has 50 more years to live before he dies. The Bible is silent kung meet niya ba si Rebecca or kung na-meet niya ng kanyang mga apo kay Isaac. Rebecca at this time may well be in her mid-30s when at last she became pregnant. That is going ahead of the story. In her 20 years in Canaan, living with Isaac's people, we can say her faith has grown. And she has become steadfast in spite of her barrenness. Why would I say this? Because she did not take it upon herself to find Isaac, his Hagar, the way Sarah did. 20 years, hindi nga naghintay siya. She waits. We can assume that she prays and talks to God. Hindi niya hinanapan ng Hagar si Isaac. Ay si Isaac naman, naging medyo impatient na siya. Kaya yung ating first verse, he pleaded with the Lord. Sabi niya sa Lord on behalf of his wife, because she was unable to have children, the Lord answered Isaac's prayer, and Rebecca became pregnant twins. Verse 21. We go to the next. But the two children struggled with each other in her womb. Sino most of you, some of you nabuntis na. Iba talaga yung mafe-feel mo yung movement ng bata sa loob ng tiyan. Minsan parang ahas yan, minsan malaki yung partner, minsan ikot na ikot. Siguro yung kay Rebecca worse than the worst that we have felt. Kasi dalawa eh. Tapos parang ang feeling na may nagbubugan sa loob. No? So, tinanong niya yung Panginoon, hindi niya tinanong yung ibang mga women doon sa Canaan o yung mga ibang women doon. Ang tinanong niya yung Panginoon. In my mind, ibang ordinaryo lang itong babae. Ano naman ang alam ng Panginoon sa pagbubuntis, no? Ang isang babae, tulad niya. But she asked the Lord, and the initiative came from her. Bakit? Why is this happening to me? So she's she's already, nasi-sense niya na meron talagang hindi normal na nangyayari. And the Lord told her kasi ganito to, Rebecca, the sons in your womb will become 2 nations. Oh my gosh! Hindi lang pala bata yung daladala ko, 2 bansa. Then, goes on. From the very beginning, the 2 nations will be rivals. 1 nation will be stronger than the other. We're talking about Edomites and the Israelites. The Edom and the Israel. And your older son. Ito yung contest. Ito kung bakit nabubugbugan sa loob. Your older son will serve your younger son. In this verse, were spoken. In this verse are the promise. Are the promise and the prophecy spoken by God to her. Sinabi sa kanya ng Panginoon. So, dahil sa Panginoon ang galing, it has been engraved in her heart since mula nung narinig niya to, and grounded her life as a mother. Ito na, sinabi ng Panginoon to. So, syempre, aware na siya sa lahat ng mga nangyayari in the years to come. At bakit ito yung ating key verse? Kasi ito yung dahilan kung bakit nagawa ni Rebecca yung kanyang ginawa na ayon sa iba ay hindi niya dapat ginawa. Okay. So, alam na natin that she gave birth to twins, si Esau at si Jacob, and you can see that in verses 20, in chapter 25, verses 24 to 34. Basahin ko lang yung first 2 verses para makita nyo kung ano ka different si Esau at si Jacob. Inisip ko yung artista, kung merong artista na mag-play ng role nila. Okay. Si Esau, the twin, the first, Rebecca discovered that she did indeed have twins. The first one was very red at birth and covered with thick hair like a fur coat. So they named him Esau. Nung pinanganak ko yung panganay ko, ang daming buhok. Sabi ng aking biyanan, para siyang buhok na tinubuan ng mukha. So, ini-imagine ko to, si Esau, red and hairy. So, parang fur. And usually naman, nag-fall off yan as they grow older. Pero si Esau hindi nag-fall off. Okay? Then the other twin was born, susunod, with his hand grasping Esau's heel. So they named him Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when the twins were born. As the boys grew up, si Esau became a skillful hunter, outdoorsman. But Jacob, sensitive, had a quiet temperament, preferring to stay at home. Imagine the difference, laging nasa labas. Siguro talagang mamasal itong si Esau. Tapos, maitim, red, kasi nga laging nasa labas. At iba siguro yung amoy niya, masculine. Pero si Jacob, laging nasa loob, nagbabasa, tumutulong sa nanay niya. Lagi siyang nag-a-attend. Sabi ng ibang mga commentary, na si Jacob daw mahilig pumunta sa mga temple tents at nakikinig ng mga things pertaining to faith and to God. Okay. So, si Isaac, ito na yung favoritism na laging nababanggit. Si Isaac loved Esau because he enjoyed eating the wild game. Esau brought home, but si Rebecca loved Jacob. One day, teenager pa tong dalawa, when Jacob was cooking some stew, di ba, nagluluto, nagbabasa na sa bahay na. Siguro kung may makina, nananahirin siya. Pero tulungan niya yung nanay niya. So, one day, when Jacob was cooking some stew, dumating si Esau, pagod na pagod, at gutom na gutom. Tapos sinabi niya kay Jacob, nagugutom na gutom ako. Sabi niya, bigyan mo naman ako ng sabaw na niluluto mo. Ang sabi ni Jacob, sige. Si Jacob naman, niya rin ng konti yung pagkamagulang ng mga laban sa family. So sabi ni Jacob, sige, pero treat me your rights as the firstborn son. Ano yung rights na yun? Mamaya papaliwanag ko kung anong different ang rights of this. Yung rights ng firstborn son ay yung inheritance niya twice. Ibigay sa kanya. At yung rights na he will be the leader of the family. So sabi ni Jacob, kasi si Jacob mahalaga ito sa kanya kasi alam niya yung value ng mga ganito sa batas ng Israelita. Alam niya ito. So, hiningi talaga ni Jacob, kahit sa anumang paraan, hindi naman tamang paraan, trade me your rights, your birthright, your rights as the firstborn son. At gano'n naman si Esau, I'm dying of starvation. Gutom na gutom ako. Ano ba naman, what good is my birthright to me now? Ang binaliwala niya. What good is it to me now? But Jacob said, sigurista. Ito talaga sila ba? First, you must swear that your birthright is mine. So Esau swore an oath, thereby selling all his rights as the firstborn to his brother Jacob. Grabe, no? Nagsinungaling pa yan si Esau later on nung lumukhin sila si Rebecca, sinabi niya, ninakaw daw ni Jacob yung kanyang birthright. Pero actually, siya yung nagbenta kay Jacob. So iniisip ko, nasan si Rebecca nung mga panahon ko? Rebecca must have known the incident, the trading of the birthright for a bowl of lentil soup. So I'm not here to talk about Jacob, kung mali man o tama yung ginawa niya. Pero kung alam yung ni Rebecca, I'm sure alam niya. Kasi close siya kay Jacob At saka siya yung nanay na hands-on. Sinabi niya, if she did, yung hold siguro ng prophecy ni God, lalong lumakas sa puso niya. God is right. Iniisip niya siguro, Esau does not deserve his birthright as a firstborn son. Kaya nung verse 34, when Jacob gave Esau some bread and lentil stew, Esau ate the meal, then got up and wept. And then it says that he showed contempt of his rights as a firstborn. I'm sure nakita ito ni Rebecca. Hindi pwedeng hindi nito. Ano yung difference ng birthright at blessing? A blessing was a pronouncement of God's favor and protection. Ito yung iniyakan talaga ni Esau later on. Kasi naibigay yung blessing to Jacob. It is a pronouncement of God's favor and protection. Samantalang yung birthright, material to, was a double portion of inheritance and a leadership position in the family. Yung birthright, naki Jacob na. So, ang iniisip siguro ni Rebecca, yung blessing. Wala. I will skip chapter 26 kasi walang kinalaman yung kay Rebecca. Chapter 26, if you read it, just talked about nag-asawa ulit si Abraham at galit na galit si Isaac at galit na galit si Isaac at si Rebecca dun sa mga pinangasawa ni Esau kasi he married several Hittite women. So ngayon, eto na yung Rebecca sa plot. Eto na yung problematic na ginawa ni Rebecca. Na-divided yung mga Christian commentators dito. Ano yung ploy? A ploy is a cunning plan or action designed to turn a situation to one's own advantage. Anong nangyari? So, muna, matanda na si Isaac. Matandang-matanda na at bulag na. So, sinabi niya, one day, Isaac was old and turning blind. He called for Esau, his older son, and said, "My son, yes, father. I am an old man now, and I don't know when I will die. Take your bow and a quiver full of arrows, and go out into the open country to hunt some wild game for me. And then prepare my favorite dish and bring it here for me to eat. Then I will pronounce the blessing that belongs to you, my firstborn son, before I die." Wait. We can imagine Isaac longing for this special moment with Isaac. Not yet, but si Isaac. Interestingly enough, parang walang nabanggit si Isaac na inheritance or blessing para kay Jacob. Yung nabanggit nila para kay Esau. Makes us wonder kung meron talaga siyang intention to give Jacob anything at all. But si Rebecca overheard what Isaac has said to his son Esau. So when Esau left to hunt for the wild game, anong ginawa ni Rebecca? saw that the man's plan wasn't matching up with God's plan. God said, sabi sa kanya ni God, the blessing will go to Jacob. And so, she acted in agreement with what God said was. So she puts her plan to action and conspires with Jacob. Na, sabi niya kay Jacob, wait, narinig ko yung tatay mo ang si Esau nag-uusap. No? At i-bless daw niya si Esau bago siya namatay. So now my son, sabi niya in verse 8, listen to me and do exactly as I tell you. Go out to the flocks and bring me 2 fine young goats. Sa flock nila to ha, ito yung domesticated animal. I'll use them to prepare your father's favorite dish. Then, take the food to your father so he can eat it and bless you before he dies. Alam mo na kilala ni Rebecca si Isaac. Alam niya na Isaac would not even notice the difference between dish na galing sa wild game, di ba, venison, no? Na hinal ni Isaac dun sa goat na kanyang pinagay. Ilang taon na silang kasal. At saka, kahit na ba, di ba, usually pag one of your senses goes, yung iba mong sense lalong gumagaling,
malakas,
lalong gumagana. So probably, iniisip siguro, pero alam din, but it is so strange because Rebecca knew that Isaac would not know the difference. But anyway, when Jacob hears the plan, he objects. But look, Jacob replied to Rebecca, my brother Esau is a fiery man, and my skin is smooth. What if my father touches me? He'll see that I'm trying to trick him, and then he'll curse me instead of blessing me. If this were simply an act of favoritism, kasi laging sinasabi ng iba na, kasi favorite ni Rebecca, si Jacob, the thought of being discovered and cursed would be enough to stop an honorable, God-fearing person in her tracks. And we know that Rebecca is an honorable, God-fearing person. But this isn't about favoritism, but heeding the direction of God. But heeding the direction of God, Rebecca responds with boldness. Itong responsiveness na overshadow ito nung ploy ng kanyang isip. So anong sinabi niya? Then let the curse fall on me, my son. Ako na lang kung talagang i-curse ka. Just do what I tell you. Go out and get the goats for me. Alam natin kung ano na yung nangyari. Alam natin na nauna na talaga si Jacob at binbless ni Isaac si Jacob. At yung pagdating ni Esau, tapos na yung blessing ni Jacob. So talagang grabe yung naramdaman ni Isaac, no? Parang ang feeling niya, ano ba itong nagawa ko? Pero hindi niya na mabawi yung kanyang blessing. And Jacob, of course, was enraged. Itong sinabi ni Rebecca, let the curse fall on me, my son. She was so confident in what God has spoken to her that she was willing to take the fall if she was wrong. At alam natin that the curse never comes. Kahit na na-discover yung plot o yung ploy nila. Naniniwala ako that this is because the words of God needed Isaac to speak to Jacob, or in fact, spoken to Jacob. Ito yung kailangang i-speak ni Isaac to Jacob. At talagang ito ang nasabi niya to Jacob. In fact, it is this act that lands Isaac and Rebecca in the Bible Hall of Faith, alongside with Abraham and Isaac. The author of the Hebrews wrote, by faith, Isaac blessed both Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. Whose faith? Wasn't it Rebecca's? Rebecca's faithfulness allowed Isaac to give the right words at the right time to the right persons. Sabi nga ng ating OPM, God works to a mother's faith when love is intended blessing. Unfortunately, yung plano ng Panginoon did not produce peace that we have hoped for. When Isaac realized what happened, grabe talaga yung lungkot niya. He was so grieved. When Esau realized what has happened, he was so enraged, threatening to kill Jacob. A real threat, kaya naman pinalayo siya ni Rebecca na punta kay Laban. At doon na naman nag-umpisa yung kwento ni Jacob and how he took his 2 wives. This was the last time we heard of Rebecca in the Bible. We know now that this incident had driven a very deep wedge between the 2 brothers for a long time. Pero nakita din natin that they have reconciled. Kapag binabasa ko itong reconciliation, talaga ako palagi natiyak. Kasi ang galing-galing talaga ng Panginoon, how He put this together. How He reconciled both brothers. So parang naayos niya yung mess na ginawa ng nanay. So what was the blessing that both brothers got in the end? I want to make this clear. Yung una for Jacob, ang sabi, diba ang blessing, God's favor and protection. Yung blessing kay Jacob, from the dew of heaven and the richness of earth, may God always give you abundant harvest of grain and beautiful new wine. Many nations become your servants, and they may bow down to you. May you be master over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. And all who curse you will be cursed, and all who bless you will be blessed. Kay Esau naman, nagbigay din siya ng blessing, di ba? Pinilit siya ni Esau. Ano naman ako, Daddy? Ano na, may blessing ka naman. Wala ba natitira na blessing sa'yo? Sabi sa kanya, you will live away from the richness of the earth and away from the dew of heaven above. Ito yung dew of heaven above. Ito na yung spiritual things. Ito na yung tinitingnan nila na about God. Walang blessing na binigyan ng ganito things. You will live by your sword. You will serve your brother. But when you decide to break free, you will shake his yoke under you. And true to this blessing, no? Naging free ang Edomites from the Israelites in the latter part of the history of Israel. So what was the means? Ito. Was the means Rebecca's deceit justifiable? Yes. What was it, right? No. But God allowed it. But God allowed it. It was wrong. It was a wrong to Isaac, taking advantage of his infirmity to impose upon him. Mali yun. And it was wrong to Jacob too, when she thought to deceive by putting a lie into his mouth. But God allowed it and worked with it. In the same way, He works with our mistakes and our messes and our sins. In His mercy and grace, we mothers continue to be His work in progress. Sabi ko nga dun sa statement, a mother is a work in progress. With God laying the groundwork. And don't forget, doing the work. Sabi ng iba, kasi hindi nakapaghintay si Rebecca. Bakit hindi niya na lang kinausap si Isaac? Ito yung mga senaryo na pwede namang mangyari para hindi niya naloko si Isaac. Sa palagay niyo ba, pag lumapit si Rebecca at sinabi niya kay Isaac na hindi mo kailangan i-bless mo si Jacob kasi sabi ng Panginoon, ito yung dapat mangyari. Do you think Isaac would have listened?
He loved Esau.
He loved Esau.
Yeah.
Alam to ng Panginoon. Alam ng Panginoon kung saan niya ilalagay yung puzzle pieces para ito ay mag-swap, para ito ay mag-uo. And true, it was sinful. It was sinful. Pero ginamit ito ng Panginoon. Not that we are undermining or not that we are minimizing the sin. Sinasabi natin that it is not right for her to do that. But, ito na yung wild faith. Ito yung wild faith in Rebecca. And God made use this one. Nalala ko yung unang tanong ko dun sa announcement. Was there any time when you have lied or your child believing that it will be good for them or it will be beneficial for them? Marami pa tayong mga beses, na may mga beses pa na yung ating, wala, kanina tinitingnan ko yan, ba't hindi nyo nakalagay creative? Kasi minsan creative tayo sa pag-manipulate ng sitwasyon. Lalo na when our kids are concerned, no? We manipulate it para yung gusto natin ay nangyari. Alam naman natin, minsan nangyayari, minsan hindi nangyayari. At sama-sama na loob natin pag hindi nangyayari. Pero the Lord still has grace. Kahit halimbawa hindi natatapos yung bata, kasi gusto natin makatapos, pero yung grasya ng Panginoon, ibang klase.
Yes.
And He continues to work this. Kaya yung mga nanay na nandito ngayon, huwag po kayong masyadong mag-alala. Huwag po masyado kayong regretful at guilty sa mga hindi nyo nagawa o sa mga nagawa nyo. Hindi nyo kasi dapat ito yung ginawa ko. Dapat is, I could have said this, I could have done this. But you know, it is done, the doing, it is the Lord's job. Ang trabaho lang natin, ang makinig dun sa kanyang salita. It will accomplish what I use. Mahirap kasi contradicting yung instinct ng nanay. Sana bigyan tayo ng Panginoon ng kalinawakan na bago tayo naging nanay, anak na tayo. You're answerable to Him. You're not answerable to our children. At paulit-ulit ko yan nilalagay sa utak ko dito kasi it was really such a struggle. Kasi grabe yung ating anxiety, yung ating struggle, at yung ating worry kung yung anak natin ay hindi, halimbawa ay hindi gumagawa ng tama, kaya yung anak natin ay naliligaw, ay nalilito. We keep on praying kay God yung mga sinabi ko. Ano kaya Lord, pag nag-bar ito, lagay mo na may pastor, may pastor pa pumunta sa bar, para lang na manipulate mo kung ano yung mangyari. At makakinig yung anak ng Panginoon. The best that we can do is really lift our children. Kasi yung salvation ng anak mo at hindi sa loob. Yung salvation ng anak mo is between your children and God. Pag sinabing also your household will be blessed, that's taking it out of the context. A salvation is individual. Kung na-save ka, hindi ibig sabihin conjugal na masasave yung asawa mo. Hindi rin ibig sabihin yung masasave yung anak mo. So the most that we can do, lagi natin pananaman, i-lift natin yung mga na sana i-lift natin sa kamay ng Panginoon. And we let the Lord do His work. Hindi yung pinipilit natin pumunta sa church. Pinipilit natin maging worship team. Kasi ang feeling natin pag nasa church, lahat na ginagawa natin. But the Lord has other ways. Iba ang kaparaan ng Panginoon. At sana maging klaro rin sa atin. So, we are a work in progress, like Rebecca. We are honored